Hi, I'm Chaplain Brian Koyn, the Division Chaplain for the 82nd Airborne Division. And I'm standing in Camp Claiborne, Louisiana, or at least the remnants of it. And this was the original home of the 82nd Airborne Division in World War II. Camp Claiborne was stood up like so many camps around the country, preparing for mobilization. And in March of 1942, General Omar Bradley was given command of the 82nd Infantry Division. Now he faced a unique challenge. The Army had just changed its training strategy, so instead of soldiers coming through a basic training and then coming to a unit, they would come right to their division, who was responsible for their training and integration and preparing for war. And so he was faced with the challenge of having 400 officers and 1,200 enlisted men as a cadre and 16,000 new draftees arriving here at Camp Claiborne, Louisiana. General Bradley saw that this transition piece was the hardest. It was the most stressful and loneliest time in these soldiers' lives. And so here's what he did. It was considered radical at the time. But instead of receiving them and really treating them almost like cattle and forming lines and pushing them through the system, he treated them like human beings and members of a team. As soon as they showed up, the G1 was there to talk to each soldier, welcome them, interview them, find out what their unique civilian skills was to place them in the unit that they needed to go to. He also had the band playing there when a train would come in to welcome these new soldiers. When they got to their barracks, on their bunks was all of their equipment that they were being issued laid out before them. And he arranged for the laundry to do a quick turn on their traveling uniforms so they would be ready the next day when training began. And in doing all this, he wanted to show them that they were coming into a great team, that they were coming home to this unit, the 82nd. Now, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, because he said that the training was tough. But it was tough in a way that the standards were tough. What they needed to prepare for was incredibly difficult, but it was done in an intelligent, a humane, and a caring way. And so that by the end of it, every soldier in the formation would know that they are part of a great team and that they had a home in this division. And it worked, because 3 months later, the division stood here behind me, and they were called the best trained division in the Army. And on this ground right here, General Bradley brought in Sergeant Alvin York, the Medal of Honor recipient from World War I, who served with the 82nd Division. And he brought in York to tell these new recruits in the 82nd about the legacy that they were a part of, about their exploits in World War I, and all that had been done before him, and the giants on whose shoulders they stood, so that they knew they were carrying on an amazing legacy. And it was because that they were so well trained and such a cohesive formation that the 82nd was chosen to be the United States' first Airborne Division. And soon after, they became the 82nd Airborne Division. So what does that mean for us today? How do we live this legacy? And I think it might be this. Transitions are hard. PCS can be difficult and stressful. Moving from what you know to something unknown can be lonely. And it doesn't matter whether you're coming straight from initial entry training or PCSing your family from another installation. How do we welcome our paratroopers to this division? How do we sponsor them, connect with them, let them know that this is a great organization, that they are home and part of an amazing team? How do we let them know of the legacy that has been set for us, starting in World War I and continuing on? How do we make them part of the team, to feel it? That's our challenge, because we're dealing with the same human beings that they dealt with in World War II. And that's our leaders' jobs, So I encourage you to think about it. How do we do this better? And in doing so, just like the 82nd in World War II, that we are trained and ready to go anywhere in the world in 18 hours, fight and win in service of our nation.